everyone, it's Elvie with House of Color. Welcome back to my channel. Today is my highly requested breastfeeding slash pumping slash how to build milk supply video. A lot of you guys have been requesting this. This video is probably going to be pretty in-depth and very lengthy. So if you guys want to skip to any of the topics, I will leave the timestamps down below with the topics so you can go ahead and skip to that part if you just want to watch that part. But we're going to talk about everything from establishing milk supply, foods you need to eat, my pumping routine, how long I pump for, pretty much everything I know about pumping and nursing. I'm going to share that with you guys. And if you have any questions at all, please leave it in the comments. I will respond to you guys because this is something I feel so passionate about, and if I can help you, then I would be more than happy to do so. So to start, Preston, he is going to be 5 months next week. He'll be 5 months on the 23rd, and we have been exclusively pumping for about 5 months now. We were supplementing a little bit with formula in the beginning for about 2 weeks. We were doing breast milk, and then whatever I couldn't produce, we supplemented with formula. And then once I got my body going with the breast milk, then we didn't have to supplement anymore. The first thing I want to talk to you guys about is establishing milk supply. Now, it's super important to build your milk supply right in the beginning. That's when it's most important, and that's when you are really going to establish and tell your body to go ahead and make milk. And if you work hard in the beginning, you're not going to have to work as hard later on. How I established my milk supply in the beginning was that I was very consistent with pumping. Well, let's rewind for a second. I wanted to nurse him, and I did nurse him for about a month, but it just didn't work out for us. He didn't have any latch problems. He latched on right away as soon as I gave birth to him. We did skin to skin, and he latched on right away. It was super natural. I think where I went wrong was that I introduced the bottle way too early. I think we gave him the bottle day 3. He just got way too used to the bottle and how quickly the milk came out, and he didn't have to work as hard, so he just preferred the bottle, and he didn't really like to nurse anymore. And at the beginning, he was very anxious and aggravated. Whenever he was hungry, there was literally no stopping him. He would just yell and scream until he got his milk. So it was very hard to get him back on the boob when he was just so used to the bottle. And that's why I decided to exclusively pump, because he was just not nursing anymore. And it works out for all of us because he's not glued to me, and other people are able to help feed him, which is a nice break for me. So in the beginning, it is completely crucial to establish your milk supply. I started pumping probably day 3 already. I think anybody who has breastfed or is breastfeeding, you are going to feel a complete sense of accomplishment, because it is the hardest thing on your body, both mentally and physically. I remember in the beginning, I just didn't know what I was supposed to do, and it totally stressed me out, because I was looking at all these pictures online and reading all these forums, and I was like, oh my gosh, and I was seeing all these girls with their fridges full of milk, and I was just like, oh, I can't do this, I can't do this, I can't feed my son, I'm a horrible mom. You just kind of have to take a step back and just realize that everyone is different. You might not make an entire refrigerator full of milk, but as long as you're feeding your son, that's okay, because you're not feeding the fridge, you're feeding your child. So I was pumping anywhere between 7 to 8 times a day, and it would be every 2 hours. Now, I don't know if you guys have ever tried doing something every 2 hours consistently, but it's not easy, you guys. And in the beginning, I was pumping. What? Are you okay? And in the beginning, I was pumping for 30 minutes each time. And it just seemed like I would pump and then turn around, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to pump again. But you know, you just have to be on schedule. I had a whole day's worth of alarm to tell me when I needed to pump. And some people, they pump in 2-hour increments, and some people pump in like an 1.5 hour increments. For instance, if I pumped at 12, I wouldn't pump again until 2:30, because from 12 until 12:30, that's when I pump, and then I would count from 12:30, 1:30 to 2:30. That's 2 hours for me. But some people do it 12 to 2 and then 2 to 4, but when I did that, I just didn't produce a lot of milk, and it was just kind of pointless. I would pump every 2 hours, meaning 7 to 8 times a day religiously for the first 3 months. Right? I did. You know I did. It was not easy, you guys. I pumped all day long, and then at nighttime I would pump again. So the first month it was definitely 8 times a day, and then after that, on the second month, I reduced it down to 7 times a day. That is number one and foremost, is pump consistently and pump every 2 hours, because the more you pump, the more you're telling your body to make milk. It's kind of the same thing with nursing. The more you nurse, the more you're telling your body, hey, you need to make more milk to feed the demand of the baby. Moving on to the second thing, you have to drink a lot of water. Staying hydrated is so important to make milk. Whenever I pump, I try to down a bottle of water. It just helps my body stay hydrated. It just helps my body stay hydrated. And oh, what's wrong? What? You want to sit up now? Want to say hi to everyone? Okay. I don't know if it's scientifically proven, but I just felt like every time I drank water, the water would just transform into milk. So definitely stay hydrated. Drink lots of water. If you want to drink coconut water, that's fine too. And also almond milk and soybean milk really helped my body into making milk as well. What? Okay, back down. Back down. The almond milk that I really like is the Khalifa Farms one. I really like that one because it's not too sweet, it's very creamy, and it doesn't taste diluted like some of the other almond milk. And soybean milk really helped me produce milk as well. I would buy the unsweetened soybean milk that's fresh. If you have a little Asian store in your area that sells fresh soybean milk, I would highly suggest that one. I would go out to my local Asian store and they had fresh... Oh. You're hungry. You're hungry. Tell everyone and we'll be right back. Go tell them. Naughty, huh? Naughty. I'll be right back. I'll be right back. Sorry about that, guys. I just put him down for a nap and he is sleeping. I'm actually watching him through FaceTime right now because I don't have a monitor yet, but I'm FaceTiming myself and he's sleeping. I talked about pumping every 2 hours, staying hydrated, and now I'm gonna get to eating. Since I am breastfeeding, I feel like I have an appetite of a 300-pound man. I am constantly hungry, and if I don't get to eat, I am very grouchy. And that's pretty normal because when I don't eat, even though I'm not breastfeeding, I still get grouchy. So I'm a double grouchy monster when I don't get to eat now. You gotta satisfy your appetite and just feed yourself. I remember at one point, for like maybe 2 days, I tried to eat super healthy and try to lose weight, and I ended up being really grouchy and I didn't produce a lot of milk because I wasn't eating a lot of carbs and things like that. I've been eating everything in sight and I've been eating a lot of unhealthy foods, but I don't know, my body just calls for it, so that's what I'm feeding it. If I want to eat 12 cookies a day, I eat 12 cookies a day. I don't know, and somehow it just kind of turns it into milk. So keep your body satisfied, keep it happy, and there's a lot of different foods that you can eat to produce milk as well. I heard that oatmeal does that, and then there's also lactation cookies that you can eat. There's this green papaya and pork hock soup that pretty much every Vietnamese Asian woman eats after she gives birth. I think I ate that for 2 weeks straight, and yeah, the thought of that soup just kind of makes me cringe because I ate it so much. But that's what you're supposed to do to help produce milk. Bone broth soups really help. It's really high in nutrients. It's very good and healthy for your body, and again, it helps produce milk. The next thing that really helped me produce milk is sleep. Now I know it sounds like a catch-22 because you have newborn, you're trying to pump, you're getting up every couple hours to pump, and how can you sleep? But it just seems like whenever I get the rest that I'm supposed to get, my body tends to produce more milk. For instance, you're supposed to nap when baby naps, and in theory that sounds really nice, but in reality it doesn't happen because you know as soon as that baby goes down for a nap, you run to the bathroom, you have that little window of silence and minute to yourself, and it's just nice to have a little peace and quiet. He's down for a nap right now, so I'm able to film this video. Sleep sounds really impossible, but it is very important to produce milk, so try to get as much rest as you can. Also, stress can really decrease your milk supply. I know that I was really stressed out for the first month or so, and it was just really hard. That first month was very difficult for me, and how I got through it was I had a lot of support. I reached out to a lot of my friends that were breastfeeding and asked them how they were able to do it, and all of them gave me really good tips and advice on how to build your milk supply. And the minute I stopped stressing about making this milk, that's the minute I started producing more milk, because I was like, you know what, I'm not going to stress out about it anymore. If my body makes it, it'll make it. If it doesn't, okay, I will think about option number 2. As soon as I stopped stressing out about it, my body just naturally started making milk. Also in that first and second month, I reached out to a La Leche League specialist, and she walked me through a lot of things, and she was very supportive and listened to my problems and walked me through this whole breastfeeding thing because it was so foreign to me. If you guys don't know what La Leche League is, I think it is a worldwide website, and they have people that are willing to help you and talk to you about breastfeeding. So if you have any problems, you can reach out to one of the support leaders in your area, and you can also attend a breastfeeding meeting. I would highly suggest going on lalecheleague.org and reach out to them if you have any problems. Another great website that answered a lot of my questions was kellymom.com. Anytime in the middle of the night I had an issue or I had some sort of question about breastfeeding, nursing, or temperament with my child, I would go on kellymom.com and they would give me a very in-depth answer to my question and just kind of walk me through any issues that I had. So definitely check out kellymom.com if you guys have any questions or concerns. The next thing I want to talk to you guys about is my pumping routine. The one that I have is the Medela Advanced Style Pump. I believe that's what it's called. And it was free through my insurance. Definitely check with your insurance to see if you guys can get a free breast pump before you go out and buy one, because those things are very expensive. My pumping routine right now is a little bit different than when I started. Like I mentioned to you guys, I started pumping 7 to 8 times a day, and that was right in the beginning at 1 month, getting into 2 months, and then by 3 months I was cutting it down to 6 times a day, and now that I'm in my 4th, going on to my 5th month, I'm down to 5 times a day. And let me tell you guys, pumping 7 to 8 times a day, and that means every 2 hours, was very straining on my body, and I felt like my whole world, my whole life just revolved around pumping. I couldn't go anywhere because I was like, no, I can't go because I gotta pump. Oh, gotta go home because I have to pump. Oh, guess what? I have to pump. Hang on guys, I gotta pump. You guys get it, right? It was just constant pumping. Since I worked hard in the beginning, now it's just a lot easier in my body, and I don't feel so stressed out and constricted to this pump 24/7. When I went down to 6 pumps a day, that was about every 3 hours. That was really, really nice. And now that I'm down to 5 pumps a day, that's even better. And maybe I can even go to 4 times a day in the next month or so. And the way I knew that I was able to cut down a pump was that I would keep record of how many ounces of milk I would make every time I pumped. I'm making anywhere between 37 to 40 ounces a day with 5 pumps per day. So my last pump of the night is usually at 11:30, and then I pump again anywhere between 5:30 to 7 o'clock. If I pump at 5 or 6, I get about 8 to 10 ounces, and if I wait until 7, I get about 12 ounces. And then I go about every 3 or 4 hours after that to pump again. My body makes around anywhere between 37 and 40 ounces of milk in the day, and that's basically my pump routine right now. Hopefully in another month or so, I can cut down my pump sessions to 4 pumps a day. That would be really, really amazing. So let's go ahead and talk about traveling with milk. According to the TSA website, you can carry milk and formula as long as you have your baby with you. And there were a few times when I traveled with my pumped milk and I did not have Preston with me, and TSA was okay with that. But I did read an article where this lady had to throw away 1,000 ounces of milk at London airport, and I would freaking die if I had to throw away 1,000 ounces of milk. That's a lot of hard work. I haven't had any problems with traveling with breast milk. All I do is I put it in a cooler bag, and then I have some dry ice. I put it in there, and then I keep it nice and cool until I get home, and then I freeze that. So these are the milk storage bags that I use. These are the Babies R Us brand, and they hold a lot of milk. I think it says 7 ounces, but I think it might hold up to 7.5 ounces. And this is one of the frozen milks that I have. It locks it up, and then I date it. I was using the Avant bags before, and that was really nice because it had like a double zip. It only held about 5 ounces, so I didn't really care for that too much. And then I switched over to the Babies R Us brand. Hi guys, we are back. You're awake now, aren't you? Say hi. Hello. We both did an outfit change because he had a little accident. Okay, so what was I talking about? Milk storage. So I had a whole bunch of milk and it was taking up so much space in my refrigerator, or in my freezer I should say. It was taking so much space in my freezer, so we had to go get a deep freezer and start storing all the milk in there. And I read online that if you store your milk in the deep freezer, it lasts 6 months, and if you store it in the freezer, it lasts 3 months. So I figured, okay, I'm gonna get a deep freezer. That way my milk can last a lot longer for baby if I decide and when I decide to quit breastfeeding. Originally, I was gonna go for 6 months, but now that 6 months is coming up, I feel like I can probably do this for another 3 months. So I've extended my goal to 9 months now, and who knows, maybe I'll do a year. Are you okay with that? You like mommy's milk? And the great thing about freshly pumped milk, I've read that it can sit out for 4 hours, I've read that it can sit out for 6 hours, and even up to 8 hours, but stretching it to 8 hours makes me feel a little uncomfortable, so I try to just leave it out for a max of 6 hours. Anytime we have to go somewhere, I pump really fast and then I put it in his bottle, and then we are good to go for that trip. This is the bottle that we use. These are the Komotomo bottles. It's supposed to be the closest thing to a real boob. Do you like it? Are you okay? So that is basically it for today's video. If you guys have any questions at all, please leave it in the comments. I'll try to answer as many as I can because I really want to help any of you guys out there with your breastfeeding situation, because I know it's so hard for a new mom. I went through it and people helped me, so I totally know how you guys feel. It's very, very frustrating when you feel like you can't produce milk, and it's just mentally draining on your body when you're trying to produce milk for your baby to eat and you feel like that's what you're there for. And if you can't produce milk, you feel like a failure. Believe me, I've had days and nights that I cried because I felt like a failure. I felt like I couldn't produce milk for you, right? And so I get it, you guys. And that is it, you guys. Thank you so much for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Bye. What? Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye, everyone.